Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we're talking about knives that I recommend that are right around the $100 price range. Some of these will be a little bit less than $100, and some of these will be a tiny bit over $100, but all of them will be right around the $100 price tag if that's what you have to spend. And they're all great knives that I recommend. Now, if you're interested in any other information that I don't mention, maybe if I don't mention the exact price, everything will be linked in the description. So you can find every single knife from this video linked in the description, and you can easily get to it. Now, starting the list off, we have the Real Steel HUGGIN. This is a knife that thoroughly impressed me. Not only with its beautiful, versatile spear point blade shape, love that swedge, love the fuller, it's a gorgeous blade in my opinion, but it has a handle that complements the blade very well. So this is a knife you can cut in any direction comfortably. You can even get in the Saturday night knife fighting grip very comfortably. Yes, lefty EDC gets in gas station knife fights on Fridays, mine are Saturdays. So we have thumb stud action on a crossbar lock, so a nice strong locking system. It is on washers, so it is going to have the, you know, the glassier feel rather than like a very free falling feel, but it's still, you can see, very, very smooth. And this is going to be a great work knife for a lot of people. VG10 steel, you know, it's not the most highest grade steel, but it's a perfectly, you know, it's a perfectly fine steel. Holds a decent edge, easy to sharpen. And, you know, it's going to be pretty stain resistant. You do have a reversible deep carry clip that is really good. This clip works good, not only in the pocket, but it's very comfortable in the hand. Let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is the CIVIVI TERAXE. Now, I've done lots of testing. I have two of these. I've done a lot of testing on this, and it is a solid knife. I got to give them credit for this knife. Now, it is a little bit overpriced considering some of the other knives from CIVIVI that resemble the same thing. You know, Nitro V or 14C28N, steel frame lock. You know, they're usually around the $70 price range for them, but in this case, this one's a little bit over 100. I think like 105. But it is really good. Multiple forms of deployment. Nice strong steel frame lock that is very robust and very solid. Decent access to the lock bar, very smooth on the drop, snappy deployment. It has a deep carry clip that is not inset, but it does have flat screws, and it is reversible. CA hardware all the way around. And you know, the Nitro V steel is a super tough steel that in my opinion, it is a phenomenal steel for EDC knives. It's super tough, holds a decent edge, not the best long-lasting edge, but it does hold an edge pretty well considering the price tag, and it's easy to sharpen, easy to maintain, very responsive to stropping, and it's nice and stainless. And to me, it takes some of the best edges out of any steel. Sticking with some CIVIVIs, we have the CIVIVI VOLTAIC. Now, this is one that, another one. I really like it. I love the straightforward spear pointish blade. Probably more of a drop point, but it's close to a spear point. You know, if that's your style, which it definitely is mine. Multiple forms of deployment. Super snappy flipper tab. Then you have the fuller for the reverse flick. It's going to be a little bit slippery for the thumb, but you can absolutely do it. And it's slim in the hand, slim in this direction. So it's going to be one that for a steel frame lock that's slightly robust as far as lockup goes, you know, it's going to be pretty slender, slim, and easy to carry. And that's one thing I personally love about this model is just its sleekness. The steel is 14C28N, which, you know, it's just like, you know, we mentioned in the Nitro V, same exact thing. They are very similar steels, very tough, nice and stainless, takes an incredibly sharp edge, takes some of the best edges I've ever seen on any steel, and it's easy for companies to heat treat. So you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be heat treated well, and CIVIVI does a really good job with it. Next is another CIVIVI, the CIVIVI SAVANT. Now, like the CIVIVI VOLTAIC, these are much more affordable than the TERAXE, but they come with basically the same materials. So this one is a steel frame lock, 14C28N drop point blade that is extremely useful. This is a nice and slicey blade that you can hold, again, in any grip. Good access to the lock bar. Very snappy flipping action, but the thing is, it only has one form of deployment instead of multiple, but I can personally reverse flick off of the spine, but a lot of people won't, so it's a flipper. But it has beautiful sharp control and plunge grind, well executed, great fit and finish, and it has a reversible deep carry clip for left-hand carry or right-hand carry. And yeah, it's just a sleek, slim, very versatile knife, and it's another one I definitely recommend. And again, the 14C is heat treated nicely. So one last CIVIVI, and that is the CIVIVI BANNERET. This is one, it looks like it's more expensive than it is because it almost looks like a titanium bolster lock, but it is a steel bolster lock. Micarta scales, but it also comes in different versions, just like these knives too, by the way, I should mention. All these CIVIVIs come in different handle materials. So these are all G10 ones, but they do come in micarta, they come in wood. So just know that there's all different options, and that's gonna be the case for most of the knives on in this video. Beautiful spear point blade. I love this blade shape. It's a super useful blade shape. Now this one again is only a flipper, but it has these neutral ergos coupled with the spear point blade. So this is going to be, again, another versatile blade in any grip, you're doing basically any task. Again, it has 14C 28N, or is this one Nitro V? Yeah, this one's Nitro V. Nitro V steel, very similar to 14C, so you know, you can pretty much, it doesn't matter which one that is. Some people prefer one over the other, but to me, they're basically the same. Internal stop pins, so it's gonna have a nice strong lockup, especially side to side, considering, you know, it has the internal stop pins. But you really can't go wrong with any of the CIVIVIs I've mentioned so far. Next is the KIZER TOWSER K. Now this comes in lots of different versions, including the Serape version that's right around the same price as this one. This one's the copper version. The Serape is Mexican Blanket G10. Anyways, there's lots of different versions, from the small one, the medium sized one, and then this is the full size one. It has multi-row ceramic caged bearings, so this thing is a guillotine. It has very satisfying thumb stud action. Like when you get it in your hand, you're not really expecting it to have as good of action as it does. It is amazing. One of the best thumb stud actions you could ask for. Very ergonomic, nice and comfortable in the hand. Sheep's foot blade, 154 cm. It's going to be a great utility cutter and a great slicer. You can choke up and put your finger right over that area to kind of, you know, stop yourself from getting caught in the choil. Fantastic access to the lock bar, deep carry clip that is reversible, and like I said, there's lots of different versions. This copper version is very, very heavy though, just FYI. Next is the CJRB SCORIA, ARRPM9 steel, titanium thumb studs, titanium pivot collar, and a milled titanium pocket clip. So this is it was my favorite CJRB before the couple new versions came out, because those ones are really, really good. And you know, the Echo's probably my favorite now, but this still has a very work knife-esque to it. It's almost like a hinder style, the way the design is, and I love it. I love just the shape of it, the way it looks. Fantastic action. Very slim, by the way. That's one thing you're going to notice right away when you get in your hand. It is slim, but very ergonomic, very useful, very snappy, and yeah, I love the SCORIA. So if you are wanting to go USA made, then I would recommend going with KERSHAW, something from their USA line like the KERSHAW LEEK, the KERSHAW Dividend, maybe even something from their launch series if you want an automatic. Now that is a little bit over $100, all the way up to like $150, but they are USA made. Now I personally would recommend just going to Japan or Taiwan if you're trying to stay away from China. So Japanese made SPYDERCOs like the SPYDERCO Stretch, SPYDERCO Dragonfly. The Dragonfly and the Stretch are both phenomenal knives. I've never owned a Dragonfly, but I have tested them and I was super surprised. I can't believe I haven't bought one because of how much I liked it. As far as the Stretch goes, I did used to own one of those. Again, another knife that is just absolutely incredible. It is a backlock knife, but these are knives that are really, really good for people that are around the $100 price range that do not want to go with China. Next is the KANSEPT PRETATOUT. Now, again, just like everything else on this list, there's lots of different versions, and with this one, there's even a titanium version. There's they even have a Tonto version. This one is the drop point version. I love this look. It has such a good look to it. Very attractive looking, very ergonomic, good access to the lock bar. Fantastic flipping action, and then you also have thumb stud action, and you have a fuller. So lots of deployment options with this one. And you know, the micarta is pretty good quality considering the price. You have a titanium mill pocket clip that works great. It does have just standoffs on it, and it is in 154 cm blade steel, which I think KANSEPT does a really good job with their 154 cm. This thing took a ridiculously sharp edge. And you know, KIZER does a really good job with their 154 cm as well. So let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is, you know, and I want to make sure I mention this really quick, the KIZER, because this one's like 115 or 120, and then this is, you know, like 107, 110, something like that for the rich light version. This is the 20 CV version, so this one's like $170, but they have a budget version. Anyways, I just want to briefly talk about these really quick because if somebody said they have right around $100, I'm probably going to recommend these number one if you can go over $100. The KIZER ESCORT or the KIZER drop bear. I'm not going to keep talking about them because I've brought them up in a lot of videos. I recently did my favorite KIZER knife video. Go and watch that because there's a bunch of other options that I could have totally put in this list that's in that video. I just didn't want to repeat, you know, a bunch of the same stuff from the video, but there's a lot of knives from that video that would fit perfectly in here. I'll pin a little card up here with that video if you want to click on it and see my favorite KIZERs. And then the QSP Penguin. Now I gotta say, you can get the titanium version with 154 cm for under $100. Titanium frame lock with 154 cm. Now, there's also a frag pattern titanium one you can get for just a little tiny bit over $100. So, phenomenal deal in my opinion. I think that is well worth the money, and it's the regular size one. However, there's all different kinds. There's the mini, there's the regular size, there's the XL or the big one. Good access to the lock bar. This one happens to be the traditional pocket knives jig patterned one, but I'm just representing the frag pattern one because this one is a bit more money than the other ones. But for the titanium and 154 cm, man, under $100, that's crazy. And they do a pretty good job with their 154 cm. Sheep's foot blade, this is going to be very versatile with utility cuts. But like I said, it's pretty versatile. So you can turn it around and cut backwards, you can cut forward, you can slice. It's very slim in the hand. Fantastic flipping action. Unlike the liner lock version, these are on bearings. So very smooth. Titanium mill pocket clip that works great. And yeah, you can't go wrong with a Penguin. There's a reason why there are 1,000 different versions of this knife, because it is that good. Anyways, that was just a quick video of knives that I recommend for right around the $100 price tag. Everything's linked down in the description. Until next time, peace.